today kabla nikuja hapa, yesterday at night, somebody came with blood and poured it on my door. Then I have a picture.
What's up, good people? Welcome to SPM Buzz. We have Sauti TV and Siasa Times. We are coming to you from SPM Buzz Studios. And with me is Inject Party Leader Morara Kebaso, carrying the burden of inspiring... Nakosea wapi?
Carrying the burden of inspiring broken people. Yes.
Maybe, can you tell us a little bit about that tagline, maybe?
Well, we're living in a country where people are depressed, people are stressed, people are suicidal, some are unable to reach their life goals, people don't have jobs, people don't have businesses, families are breaking, relationships are breaking, we have bad roads, bad healthcare, so people are really depressed, and that's what I call broken people. And inspiring them is to simply give them the hope. First, by identifying the problem, that this is a problem, but this is what we can do to fix the problem. The reason I call it a burden is because leadership is a burden. Personally, I don't see it as a benefit or as a privilege. I see it as a burden because it's very heavy to carry, especially if you're not doing politics for money or for personal gain. It becomes a really heavy burden to bear. But I bear it every day. Pembe ni mzito lakini ndovu anabeba.
Maybe tell us, because of course carrying the burden isn't easy. How are you doing? Wewe kama Morara Kebaso, now you as a person.
Well, at first my mental health was not very good. I used to get frustrated a lot, especially when I'm doing civic education, then I see Kenyan people still lining up for unga, still lining up for money. When I see youth whose future has been stolen, cheering the same people that have stolen their future, I used to really get frustrated. I used to wonder whether I'm making good use of my time and whether this is something I should do or continue to do. But with time, I grew into it and I realized that leadership is not about having high expectations. If you have too high expectations on the people you're leading, you're going to be disappointed. Leadership is about love. You have to love the people you want to lead. So then when you love them, you're able to lead them without expectations that you're going to do this for them, but you don't expect them to also do this for you or do this in return. And if they don't do that, then you're not disappointed. You just keep doing it and keep doing it, hoping that there will change that will come. It's not easy. People have been in this situation for long. People have been in poverty for long. Some of the problems we're dealing with here are 60 years and more old. They are colonial problems that were created here in our country even before independence. So to solve them is not going to take overnight. It has to take a patient person. And I think I've grown to have patience over time.
Allow me to ask this question because I have not come across that side of your story. At what specific time did you decide to now gather, verify information and expose projects that haven't been fulfilled by the Kenyan government? At what point did you get triggered to do what you were doing online?
I got triggered after Nane Nane, the 8th of August 2024. I had these expectations for that day. Ilikuwa ile mnasemanga kwa kweli siku njema huonekana asubuhi. Unaona vile tulikuwa tunaanza insha. I was so excited about that day. I believe that that day, my dream was that there will be millions of people in the streets like Bangladesh, moving into town, coming to demand for change, accountability, transparency, and the government was going to give in and we were going to see massive changes and massive arrest of people who have stolen public funds. I had so high expectations. When it didn't work that way and when I didn't see the millions of people I was expecting, when the police in town were more than the people, when people bought fear and stayed at home.
Was this 2024 or 2023?
This was 2024, last year.
Okay.
So this is after June, so now we are in July, then August. So when that didn't happen, I was so disappointed. So I had to deal with the disappointment and heartbreak for about a week. Then I asked myself, what is the problem? Have I really understood the problem? And I realized that my mistake was that I kept assuming the problem are the leaders. I kept assuming that the problem is William Ruto or what. They are a result of the problem. They are part of the problem. but they are not the foundation or the beginning or the reason for the problem. In fact, they've only taken advantage of a broken system to steal public funds and to misgovern our country. But the basis, the very foundation of the problem ni Wakenya wenyewe. Kenyans are not very enlightened regarding their taxes. They don't first, most of them don't believe they pay tax. Yeah. Wana believe watu wanalipa tax ni wale wenye wanakatwa kwa payslip na wenye watu wa biz wenye tunalipa tax kwa KRA. But Mkenya anafaa kwamba akinunua sigara amelipa tax, akinunua unga kg moja amelipa tax, ukinunua diapers umelipa tax, ukinunua maziwa asubuhi kwa duka every single day you pay taxes. Ukipanda gari ulipe fare, hiyo fare umelipa 70 bob, ilikuwa inafaa kwa 50 bob. 20 bob ni tax. Ukilipa token ya 50 bob, 20 bob ni tax, 30 bob ndio token. So Kenyans first need to understand that this is their money. Kulikuwa na hiyo shida ya watu wako like pesa ya serikali imeibiwa sana. So I needed to make them understand that, one, this is your money, and secondly, this is how it's being used. Yeah. It's not enough. What the media was doing is saying 6 billion stolen in the Ministry of Health, or 9 billion theft through, Kenya National Trading Corporation edible oil scandal. Once in a while. But they were not bringing the picture home. People are not like seeing it. Venye hii corruption in our effect. Unajua ukisikia pesa iliibwa and you yourself you've never touched a million in your life, and these people are talking about 6 billion, you're not able to know what's the magnitude of this money that has been stolen. So when I started going to projects, nikikuja kwa hosi yenye iko kwenu, like kwenu ni Nyandarua, unajua Oljororok, unajua Olkalau, unajua hii place, hapa ni home, uligrow hapo, ulicheza ball kwa hiyo field yenye nimesimama. Nikienda Kabarnet Stadium, unakumbuka uliendanga huko kuwatch ball, teams zikiplay. Nikienda Ole Ngurune Stadium, it reminds you that this is home. Nikikupeleka kwa barabara ya kwenu, nikwambie maybe Captain Demi, Ndunyunjeru, Kahuruko Road, ni barabara unapitianga, maybe sometimes hata inabidi mlale kwa relatives juu kumenyesha, hiyo hakuna magari zinaenda hiyo road juu haipitiki. So
I think that's where I grew Captain Demi Road. That's where I grew.
You come from there. I was there. Very highly agriculturally productive area. By the barabara ingekuwa fiti, place people would really make money from agriculture. So then point ni ilileta point home. Like mse hajaielewa venye corruption inamuaffect, nilimletea hiyo kitu kwa meza, nilimletea kwake kwa nyumba, akaiget kabisa. And I believe when your population is educated and enlightened, even bad leadership does not survive. The best way to kick out bad leadership is to enlighten the people. Yeah.
All right. Now, please take us through the process or what you do. Gathering, verifying information before exposing a project.
So I have a team of researchers. Yeah. Amazing people. They do exceptional work. Huwa tunaketi pamoja. So we choose a county, or we choose a constituency or a region. Then we begin with publicly available information. Publicly available information is things like the Appropriation Act of Parliament, what was appropriated. We come to the budget implementation report by the Control of Budget. We come to the audit report for the previous financial years by the Auditor General. We come to the county strategic development plan for that particular year or for that range of years. Once we get this publicly available information, we put this information together. Then once we know the projects that we are suspecting, tukishaanza kuzisuspect, hapa hii ni hapa hii imeibiwa, hapa hii iko hivi, hapa hii hata napitanga kwa hiyo barabara hii nayo sijaiona, unaona. So once we come up with a list of projects we are suspecting, then now we activate our networks. So we have networks like across the country. Hakuna county Kenya yenye sijui mse, na hakuna constituency 290 of them yenye sijui mtu. I know someone in all the 290 constituencies, not just someone, some people. There's no government agency unless haija come across my desk yenye sijui someone. And if I don't know someone, someone links me to someone. ni aje bro, si ule boy tulisoma naye anakuanga Ministry of Treasury and Planning. Ule mtu tulisoma siendi anakuwa na Nyandarua County hapo, si umpigie simu akwambie. So and so si ni land surveyor, si yako hapo registry. So those are networks that I've had and I've had to build over time. So then we leverage on the networks of the people we know to ask them what information they can add. Now from time to time kuna watu tu inbox, kuna watu tu text, kuna watu tutumia message WhatsApp, wanasema kuja place fulani muone tu. Hata siwaambii sana, nyi kujeni paka Mashuru, Kajiado County, muone kitu yenye iko hapo. Kuna project utapata imekufa hapo. Mimi hata sijui ni pesa ngapi iliwekwa, but it's dead. I just know that it is dead. So we go there. Or somebody tells us, come to Undanyi, Taita Taveta. Muangalie Undanyi Stadium. Muone where more than 100 million shillings went. Walisema it is maybe a 10,000 capacity stadium, kuja muhesabu viti. Mimi nimejaribu kusihesabu, they are 300 or they are 400 of them. So there's also information that comes from the public. So it's a mix of a lot of things. But then we come to uncover things that were hidden or forgotten or that were ignored, that people never thought to be important. They come to realize that, well, this is where your money is. So then you need to start being worried because, for example, right now we are talking about the issue of AUC, like it's a trending issue. Amina Mohammed, she was campaigning for AUC, spent over 437 million of your money, not her money, of your money to campaign and still lost. 437 million is enough to build Narok Referral Hospital. It's not building a clinic. It's not building a dispensary. It's not building a level 3, not a level 4. It's building a referral and teaching hospital. That money is enough to build a magnitude of a hospital. So then you start understanding the effect of the money we are losing, like what we've lost now.
There's something you've mentioned, the issue of AUC, although that's a topic nilikuwa nimepanga tuongelele baadaye, but since it came up, now Kenyans have been talking about the whole team that traveled all the way to Addis Ababa to stand with Baba during the elections. I don't know whether it's something that you've jumped in yet, because we have seen, I'm forgetting the name of the MP who said, this is public money.
You know, first, it was such an embarrassing spectacle because these people are neither voters, they are not the ones going to vote, it's presidents that are going to vote. They are not campaigners. It's not like if you take Oscar Sudi to Addis Ababa, he'll talk to President John Mahama of Ghana to vote for Raila. It's not like if you carry maybe Caleb Amisi, the MP, to Addis Ababa, he is going to speak to Duma Boko, the president of Botswana, to vote for Raila. So his presence there is utterly useless. Like, hakuna kitu amekuja kufanya. So they say they are coming to offer emotional support. But at our expense, look at how much money Raila has spent, or Raila campaign has spent on AUC. It's billions. Recently, the Juja MP, Koimburi, was arrested for saying it was 13 billion. They are keeping it as a closely guarded secret because they are embarrassed at how much it is. And he didn't spend all of it. Some of it was stolen. The private jet alone he was using was costing Kenya $18,000 per hour. That's 2.3 million shillings per hour. Do you know how many youth whose lives it can change? In that 1 hour, yenye hiyo ndege imekunywa 18,000 to rent it. Do you know how many youths it can actually help in terms of accessing capital for their ideas? Of even opening their gateways to get employment? So many. So it was a total waste to have this whole team of, you know, people who are like going to on a school trip to go to Addis Ababa to do absolutely nothing, and he still lost at our expense. Unajua angekuwa na lose na do yake, we wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of them say they went there on their own expense.
Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. It's rarely true that our politicians or members of parliament use their own money for anything. Everything they always want to put their hand in our cookie jar. So what is this generosity? What is ni nini? Ni roho mgani mtakatifu aliwashika raundi hii wakawa na roho nzuri ya kupenda wananchi mpaka wakaona, jamani, raundi hii hatuwezi kutumia fedha za wananchi, tutatumia zetu. Highly unlikely. So I do believe that this will be audited and that we'll finally get the figure. It's just that they don't want to release the figure now when people are still angry. They want us to sahau, ndio they sneak out the figure. Then at that time, maybe people have forgotten they're dealing with a new problem. So Kenyans need to stop being forgetful. We need to hate theft of public funds with passion. We need to hate it like we are being paid.
Talking about the AUC, do you think there was anything that could be done better for the Kenyan candidate to clinch the seat?
First, how did we come up with a candidate? This is a Kenyan candidate. Who appointed him, or who said, now you will represent us? It is Ruto himself who just chose, handpicked Raila Odinga and said, since this is my opponent and I need to calm him down so that I can steal public funds, wacha nitafute mahali nitamweka akuwe busy.
So it might not be the idea of Raila Odinga.
It wasn't his idea. He was being given a retirement job. Now you see, the African presidents are very passionate about the AUC and Pan-Africanism. The AU is so much bigger than Ruto. Africa has more than 50 countries. So all of them have an interest. So you are not going to use the AU to settle your own domestic political problem. Hata wao wako na maopponent wao huko kwa zile country wametoka, who they would very much love to exile to the AUC so that they are no longer a problem to them. So first, the mistake is William Ruto handpicking a candidate for us who does not have the qualifications, who does not have the withhold to be a candidate for the AUC or to be a secretariat head of the AUC. Remember, the AUC is a secretariat. Hii si kitu ya kupatia mtu mzee mwenye ako beyond 80 years. Secretariat ni kitu ina involve meetings, ina involve a lot of traveling, ina involve a lot of document presentation. So it's not the kind of job for him. So unajua watu wakizeeka wanapewa retirement job kama chairman of school board. Mahali tu anaitwa meeting once or twice a month, anakuja na keti, anapeana wisdom na guidance, your story inaisha. AUC is a secretariat. It's an everyday job. It's an 8 to 5 job. This guy literally can't do it. Hata kama tunataka. There are so many Kenyans that were overqualified to be AUC chair, myself included. Ningeweza hiyo kazi, ukweli wa Mungu. And there are many other Kenyans that would have been able to do that job, but Ruto decided to handpick Raila Odinga, spend our public resources, okay? Then we are very poor at our foreign policy. Just imagine, when Africans are trying to talk about the expulsion of neo-colonization from Africa, where wazungus from the US and UK and France are trying to influence our governance structures in Africa. And Africans are rejecting that because the coups that you've seen in Mali, the coups that you've seen in Chad, the coups that you've seen in Burkina Faso, kina Dumbuya, kina Ibrahim Traore, those are Africans rejecting foreign influence. Then just when Africans are in that mood of rejecting foreign influence, Ruto slides in and says he has spoken to Emmanuel Macron of France to come and solve the problem in DRC. Surely.
We have seen a lot of people think that this could actually be the whole thing that led to the whatever happened in Addis Ababa.
Yeah, that is true. You know, Kenya, first, our president has also removed us from what our foreign policy used to be. Our foreign policy used to be non-alignment. He's been aligning. He's been making us unnecessary enemies. We used to be very good neighbors with Sudan. Now they are our enemy. Okay? Uganda, where he thinks Museveni is his friend, Museveni didn't show up for the election. Alikula fair.
Do you actually believe that, because we've seen also a group of people thinking that kidogo pia pesa ilitolewa ku quote unquote bribe some African head of states to vote for Raila.
That is true. That is absolutely true. In fact, me, how I knew that bribery was going to happen is the time around December holiday 2024, Christmas, when I saw the president of Ghana fly into Kilgoris, not State House, fly with a private jet into Kilgoris where the president was, and he meets with Raila and leaves. I knew something is up. So yes, it's true, and even a speech has come out of the now AUC chair from Djibouti, speaking and saying that we actually did spend a lot of money and we tried to use foreign influence, including the United States, to try and influence this election, but he still won. And the things he's saying are true. So we need to accept that this was a blunder. That's an acceptance. Acceptance is the first step towards healing. Yeah, sasa hiyo ni kitu tukubali tu kwanza. First, we are the wrong candidate. Two, we are the wrong person pushing the wrong candidate. We had William Ruto pushing the candidate. Now, most of the presidents in Africa don't identify with Ruto. This is not the Africa when majority of the presidents were dictators. We have a new Africa now where young leaders who have undergone oppression and violation of human rights are coming up. Like Duma Boko of Botswana, Hakainde of, I think it's Malawi or Zambia. Then we have presidents like Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, and many others, young people. Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. These are young people in their 40s, 30s who are trying to change. Bassirou Faye of Senegal. They actually identify what it is to be abducted, to have false charges against you in court, to be hunted down by the state, the weaponization of state agencies to deal with political dissidents or opponents. These people have felt that pain. So when they come to the AUC to vote, they don't identify Ruto with progression or a progressive voice in Africa. They identify him with oppression. Yeah.
Now, Morara, according to you, what do you think is next for Raila Odinga?
Okay, I'm sorry, I think this might sound painful, but I don't care. In my scheme of things, in my thoughts of mind, he doesn't appear anywhere. I will not vote for him. I would not wish to see him on the ballot. I am sad for the people that still support him because of how much mess him and other people, including William Ruto, have created in our country through the political parties and the powers that they hold. So as a Gen Z and as a young person, I don't see any future in Raila. And therefore, what he does with his life, to me, is inconsequential. What I'm trying to focus on is how can the 15 million young people of Kenya turn out and vote for the right candidate. And secondly, how can we have a change of culture and society so that we stop tolerating mediocrity in leadership. Hizo nzo zile vitu zinanisumbua. Ya Raila hata inisumbue juu first mimi sihitaji ticket yake for any position. I have my own party. Yeah. Secondly, I don't need his help to fight for me for anything. We've already proven as Gen Z that we can fight for ourselves without Raila. In any case, whenever he fights for Kenyans, it's always ana target the cookie jar. Kanapigana, akiona the cookie jar imekuja karibu, anaingiza mkono ndani ya cookie jar, ananyakua. Unaona, anatoka na ka 5 billion na ka 3 billion, anaenda kukula huko kwa kona peke yake. So tushamgundua. So I really don't, I'm not even interested to know. Lakini, if they make the mistake of bringing a referendum to try and introduce a position of prime minister, ando watajua kwamba the young people wako na 15 million votes Kenya hii. Ayo siku watatambua.
Now, since I now understand you don't want this kind of question, but allow me to ask this. A lot of people thought the AU seat actually brought Raila Odinga and the president together. Do we foresee maybe some quote-unquote breakup?
These people are always friends. Raila, Ruto, Uhuru, Gachagua, This is one family. These are people who benefit and make money from politics. Hawezi kosana sana. Hata wakikosana, wanakosana kwa hii deal, wanatafuta ingine yenye wataelewana. They can never disagree because all of them wanakamua hii ng'ombe inaitwa Kenya. Huyu anachukua 3 billion yake, huyu ana make 2 billion yake, huyu ana make 5 billion yake, Ruto ana make 20 billion yake. Everybody is milking this cow dry. So because of how much they benefit from corruption, they can never really kosana sana. You saw the other day people are saying at Uhuru and Ruto wameelewana, Uhuru ameingiza his ministers kwa cabinet, then suddenly Uhuru says something that is pro Gen Zs, that is saying Gen Zs fight for yourselves. Then people are excited that Uhuru is finally breaking up with Ruto. Hizo ni mchezo ya town. Hiyo ni tunafaa tuache kuwaonea 18. Tuwaonee 24. Inafaa tuwaonee huko. Inafaa tuwaonee 24 because hiyo ni mchezo tu ya town. Hiyo ni kitu wanakoleana, wanaambiwa niambie nini hawa mafala leo. Waambie hivi. Chezesi wao akili kidogo. Wewe enda useme hivi. Wewe cheza hivi. Ama mtu anasema kitu kali alafu anampigia simu anasema nimeona hapo vile umedunga. Endelea hivyo msee, tuko sawa. So these people are one family. We the youth ndo tunafaa tujiulize, are we on the table or on the menu? Because so far we are on the menu, not on the table. So we need to be either on the table or at the table. Yes.
Talking about being on the table and talking about Kenyan youths, a lot of Kenyans have been asking, why have we not seen this, I'd say, people who are fighting for Kenyans, Morara Kebaso, Eric Omondi, among others, come together and work together. Morara, I don't know how you're going to respond to that question.
It's Kenyans who don't know, but we actually work together a lot. Our watu wote vile unawamention hivyo, we call each other, we talk. It's just that we don't say it, but we do consult a lot. And the truth is that most of the progressive voices in Kenya, majority of them, 90% of us, we are in communication with each other. Hatuwezi jua, labda tuko na WhatsApp group. It's just that you see, if we hang around together too much, then we can become collateral damage. An attack on one can be an attack on all. Or somebody can kill two birds with one stone. So it's better when everybody is running their race. Wewe una inject uko kwa civil society, mimi niko hapa kwa accountability and good governance, mwingine anapigana na churches and religious influence in politics, mwingine anapigana na media and openness and flow of information and access to information and freedom of speech. So everybody is fighting. In the courtrooms, we have lawyers filing cases every day against the government, seeking injunctions, preventing bad things from happening. We even have people in government who feed us with information. They are like, cheki mimi niko gava, ana pay slip, so siwezi ongea to the media, lakini shika hii document, wenda inject. So we have friends everywhere, in government and outside government. Watu wanataka change, si wachache, ni wengi.
This goes back to whatever you told us, that you've even sources who tell you there's this project that I suspect kidogo money was mishandled here and there. So you have people in government who also help you in the projects that you do, and covering projects that have not yet been fulfilled by the government.
Yeah, believe you me, the government has over 1 million employees. Not all of them are pro-Ruto or pro-corruption. Some people just want to do their job and go home. Some people just want to earn their salary, borrow a loan from their SACCO and develop themselves, buy a piece of land, retire. It's not everybody that has that greed for theft and plunder of public resources. Some people are just doing diligently their work professionally without theft. So wako watu wengi ambao wako kwa serikali that watch my videos, that follow my content, that are always informing me and telling me, na kitu fulani mbona hujaiona ama una ignore, si ufike huko. So we have even contributions. We get sometimes contribution from people who actually work for the government. So watu wanataka change ni wengi. Hata kwa Ruto kwenyewe, in his own family, unaweza pata kuna watu wanataka change.
So you celebrate 2 months without receiving, I think right now you're heading to 3 months without receiving public funds.
Yeah, 4.
4.
Nishagonga 4. Without asking for public support.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I gave it a pause. I gave it a break. Hii mambo ya asking for public support to be able to do civic education. I gave it a break so that we all step back and look at the bigger picture and understand why I'm doing it. Because sometimes if you keep doing something incessantly without the people understanding why you do it or for which reason you do it, then people resist what they don't understand. So people really needed a break to understand, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to change the story of campaign financing. I'm trying to say we need to ask ourselves why Sakaja spends over 300 million to be governor Nairobi, yet his whole salary for 5 years can only total to 120 million. How does he hope to recover this money and even collect more for the next campaign for his re-election? What would make Ruto spend more than 7 or 8 billion, as Senator Cherargei said, 7 to 8 billion campaign for president, when his salary and allowances for all the 5 years can only maybe amount to 200 or 250 million? Why would he spend 7 billion? It's because he knows he'll be able to recover it through corruption and through theft. So how then do you solve that problem? 2 things. 1, educate the people not to ask money from politicians. Like, msikuwe mnaona politician kama cash cow. Mkimwona tu mnasema, hey, mheshimiwa, tuko wachache, hatuko wengi. Leo hatuko wengi, you know. People start understanding that ukipewa pesa ama ukipewa unga, vile Simbarati aliline up watu over Christmas na kina Oscar Sudi kuwapea unga sijui na mafuta ya kupika, you are eating your hospital, you are eating your roads, you are eating your school, you are eating money meant for investment. We ni pesa yako unakula. Na yenye imeenda ndio mingi. Hii umepewa kaunga ni kaleo tu. So my reason for fundraising was to make people start understanding why other countries and developed countries like the United States and other places, politicians fundraise from the public. It is to remove that incentive for corruption. And when people fund you, they own you. Nasa kama mimi sahi, it's harder. It's 1,000 times harder for me kuruka wa Kenya than anybody else. If everything I'd ever spent to do the Vampire Diaries and to start Inject Party and to have an office and to have furniture and to do this was my money, then I owe nobody an explanation. Sure. Nikiitwa, probably I would think twice. It's just that I'm raised well and I have values, so even if I use my own money, it's not something I would do. But now thinking of, there's something we call in law an officious bystander, an ordinary man principle, like an average person, thinking straightforward. What would they do? And the thing is that if they would spend their own money, then they would want to recover it. So then, mimi juu nimekuwa funded by the public, it's 1,000 times harder for me to not be on their side. Like, I have to be on their side. They literally own me. So because they own me, that is how they should wish they owned all politicians. Kenya should wish they owned their governor the way they own me. They owned their MP the way they own me. They owned their president the way they own me. Unaona mimi nikiulizwa accountability reports na leta hadi marisiti na post kwa social media na peana list, nasema paka nilipokea hii, nimetumia hii, niliongezea hii na hiyo ninafunga hesabu. How good would it have been if your MP was to do that with CDF and inform you of how you spent your money? How good would it be if your governor was to do that with county funds? You know, Nakuru County had a budget of 20 billion. What if they accounted for the 20 billion that way? It would be impressive, right? So Kenya should look on the brighter side, that by funding me, they actually managed to own me, and by owning me, they were able to have a voice that they own, and therefore that they control, and that will always speak on behalf of the people and never for himself. Najua mimi sasa siwezi jiongelelea. I speak on behalf of my financiers, who are the Kenyan people. Yeah.
You know, it reminds me, there was a time tulikuwa tunapitia hapo karibu na Central, and I think the wakati gari ilichukuliwa ikapelekwa hapo, and I had a group of, like, there were around 3 youths kusema ndo ile gari yetu.
Yeah, you know, the ownership.
Yeah.
Hata wakati kulikuwa na campaign against femicide, Okay, me, I may not be a woman, so mostly it's women who are going for that march. But as a man, I turned out to support the women who are being tear gassed by men because men are protectors. And what did I do? I came with the inject car. Why? Because it's not my car. It belongs to the Kenyan people. And if there is a serious Kenyan event that requires a public vehicle that does not belong to me, I provide the public vehicle that belongs to Kenyans. So it's good for them to have that sense of ownership. So the same way they feel they own the inject car, they should feel that that's the same way they own State House. Ruto lives in your house. He doesn't live in his house. He lives in your house built with your money. You are hosting him. He drives your car. It belongs to you. You bought it with your taxes. Ile 20 bob ulilipa ukibai token ya 50 bob. Ile tax ulilipa ukinunua nguo. That is your money yenye amenunua nayo gari. So that car is yours. So when Kenyans start having an ownership to public property and public finances, then they become, more questioning and more keen on how it's spent and used.
Now, has it become a little hard, I would say, since maybe you stopped receiving the public money?
Yeah, definitely. So Mona Vampire Diaries, we have a slow puncture. We are not able to do as many projects as we used to do, to travel around the country as much as we could, because then we are limited in resources. And me personally, I've also been hunted down by KRA. So when KRA hunts you, one of the things they go for is your bank accounts. So I don't have access to money as I would, even if I wanted to use my own. So yeah, ukweli ni kwamba it has slowed us down, but what I'm doing is I'm building the understanding to the Kenyan people, because it's not the first time I'm fundraising and it's not the last time. We will even fundraise for the presidential elections in 2027. So because we intend to do that, it's a good time for us to reflect at Inject Party and build stronger structures of accountability that can give confidence to the Kenyan people, but also to help the Kenyan people understand why it's important for them to support.
Oh, wow. Now, I remember there was a time you picked from, I think it was your office, Kenyans were all over social media, at the Milimani Law Courts, at the DCI headquarters. Tuambie leo, Morara, how's your DM, how's your call log like to date?
It's crazy. My call log, I get about 300 to 500 calls a day. My inbox on WhatsApp, I get between 100 to 150 messages every day. My inboxes on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok is uncountable. So if you're a Kenyan out there na umewahi ni inbox and I didn't reply, ujue tu I'm overwhelmed. My hands are full. I usually try to catch up. Nikifungua tu messages kama 20 ama 30, I'm done. So I hope I will do more. But you see, the challenge is hiring someone to read messages sent to you personally is not easy. Some of these messages are personal problems. Some of them are people spilling secrets or telling me things in confidence. So that's why sometimes I prefer to read them myself. But the truth is that to this day, I'm still sought after by Kenyans a lot, especially when they have challenges, they have problems. And I'm called for all manner of things. Some big, really big things, and some really small things. Yeah.
Looking at the political atmosphere in our country today, and also looking at what you do, Morara, a lot of people, if you mention the name Morara Kebaso to anyone out there, a lot of people have this mentality in mind. This is a guy ambaye anatafutwa kila siku. Yani tunaweza sikia tu anytime watu wameanza kutengeneza poster free Morara Kebaso and things like that. I don't know whether talking about such threats, are these kind of things that you receive maybe on a daily basis?
Threats hata nimechoka. They never end. They never end. And some of the threats I get, some I don't even speak about them. Because if I speak too much about what is happening to me, I'll traumatize my followers and scare them. when actually I should be giving them confidence. I'll give you a good example.
Yeah.
Today kabla nikuja hapa, yesterday at night, somebody came with blood and poured it on my door. Then I have a picture. Some people brought blood to my, let me show you. People brought blood, you see? Yeah, this is today in the morning.
This your home or the office?
This is the workshop, my workshop in Utawala.
Yeah.
Naona vile walimwaga damu kwa mlango, and they left my picture now. Yeah, so threats is something I get all the time, and sometimes I don't even get to talk about it. Not because I don't really want to, but because I don't want to traumatize my followers with these problems or burden them with these problems all the time. Threats are going to be there, and they will always be there. What we do is, first we need to know that our protection comes from God. There is nothing literally that we can do, whether it is installing CCTV, having bodyguards, keeping German Shepherd dogs, having a gun, there's a panga. There is literally nothing we can do in our human strength to supersede the protection that God can give us. So I am here by the grace of God because he has decided that it is not yet time.
Yeah.
He still has some business to conduct with me. Secondly, I am surveilled all the time by the government, and sometimes by people who I do not know whether it's the government. It can be politicians, it can be contractors for projects that I've been auditing, it can be anyone. So the truth is that threats is not something that is going to end. At least that's how I've understood it, that it's going to be my new normal. It's something that I've to get used to and live in it and understand that I live in danger constantly. Stay safe, do what I can do in my human capacity, like, just having basic security, doing surveillance, the basics. But at the end of the day, I need to continue doing what I do. It's not a source of fear. It's not something that makes me stop.
Yeah.
It's not something that punctures my wheels. It's not something that disappoints me. In fact, I'm more disappointed when I see the Kenyan people celebrate corrupt leaders than when I'm disappointed and I'm threatened. Like, when I'm threatened, it's like, yeah, I can handle. But when I see Kenyan people cheering for someone who stole 1 billion bob, 500 million, 200 million, and they treat this person like a saint, they are even ready to vote for this person. For example, just explain to me, how did Anne Waiguru live with a corruption case in NYS of theft of up to 20 billion and still got elected as a governor not once but twice? How did Gladys Bosholei leave the judiciary as a registrar of the Supreme Court, as of the judiciary, and she gets elected as a women rep 2 times? How does Fernandez Barasa leave Ketraco with a corruption case for, theft of transformers and other things, and he gets elected as a governor for Kakamega? Yani, we are trusting this guy to take care of our money when he has questions on how he took care of money where he was. Daniel Manduku, the current member of parliament for Nyariba Rimasaba constituency in Kisii County, he had a corruption case in Kenya Ports Authority. But we have sanitized that. Tumesema hiyo ni kazi ya shetani. Hiyo anaonewa. Then we've trusted him to be an MP. There's another guy who was called Pavel Oimeke. He left Energy Regulatory Authority, okay, EPRA, with a corruption case, was elected as an MP. Didmas Barasa is now the leading candidate to be a governor in Bungoma. William Ruto, this one that we elected as president, it's not that we didn't know who he is. He didn't start yesterday. He started a long time ago, and here we are trusting him as president. So then the question is, what is our problem? So that disappoints me more than being threatened. Vitisho hii ya kuandikiwa message, Morara tutakuua. Mara, there's another time they brought a coffin to my gate with my picture, just to threaten to kill me. And so many things, KRA coming after me and many other government institutions coming after my safety, my money, my family, and other people. Those things don't disappoint me the way I'm disappointed with our decision making as Kenyans. And that's why I continue to try to lead Kenyans towards civic education, understanding, so they know how to choose better.
Is there hope? For example, we have for the longest time talked about issues of funds. We have now a new problem. Okay, I don't want to call it so new, but it's new. This whole shutting. The other day, we saw there is a supplementary budget, 4.8 billion allocated to the office of the president and the deputy president. Is there hope?
Yeah, there's hope, but the hope is in the young people. Wacha nikwambie mbona mimi naamini vijana ndo wanabeba hope ya Kenya. Vijana pekee ndo wamemanage ku get it right on the issue of evading tribalism. Vijana pekee yake. Kuna a few millennials, a few Gen X's wenye wanaona venye tunaiona, but vijana 90% of young people in Kenya, tribalism na imewatoka. They don't care. They can vote for anyone from any community as long as the person can perform.
Yeah.
Kitu tu nangoja vijana wafanye ni kuchukua ID, kuregister as voters, and then kujitokeza kukuwa candidates. Vijana waache kuwa machia, unasikia cheering squad. Sio chiwawa. Wakumbuka tukiwa high school, kuna watu walikuwa na bebwa basi mzima ya cheering squad. Vijana waache kuwa cheering squad. Waingie kwa pitch, wacheze hii game. Wajiofe for positions of leadership. Waseme cheki. Naweza kuwa sina do, lakini Morara sha pave the way kwamba tunaweza fundraise do. Mimi na fundraise kwa MP. Mimi na fundraise do ya posters, do ya banners, nataka kwa governor, nataka kutoa huyu corrupt person mwenye ako hapo. So vijana wasijione tu kama voters, wajione pia kama the solution providers. Yes.
All right. Now, maybe talking about the youths being the future of this great nation. Of course, we're expecting to see you in the ballot come 2027.
Kama dawa. Nikose nichekwe.
Mbona ukose?
Nikose kwenye debe? Mbingu itashuka.
Maybe how prepared are you?
Yamkini, wahenga na wahenguzi hawakutupaka mafuta kwenye mgongo wa chupa. Walipolonga kwamba cha mkufuu mwanafuu ha na akihu, na cha mwanafuu mkufuu hu na akiha. Nitakuwa kwa debe.
Uko tayari?
I will be on the ballot by and on behalf of all the young people of Kenya. I'll not be on the ballot as my tribe. I'm not coming there as a candidate wa kabila fulani. I'm not coming there as, some partisan person. I'm coming there as a representative of the young people of Kenya to come and table a manifesto on the Kenya we want. And believe you me, the young people are 15 million votes. So anybody who thinks they can predict 2027 election, they are wrong. Because they cannot predict that election. A young person has never vied for president. Nobody in their 30s has ever run for president here. Or in their 20s. I'm 29 now. I'll be about 32 then. I'll be the youngest candidate to ever run for president. Believe you me. Wapende, wasipende, wani dismiss, waseme wewe hujai kuwa hata MCA, hata Ibrahim Traore hajai kuwa MCA. Hata Donald Trump alishoot direct na kukuwa president, hajai kuwa governor, na hajai kuwa senator. Okay? Hata my role model anaitwa Bukele. Wa country inaitwa El Salvador. Hata yeye alishoot hivyo tu. So the young people should know that this is their moment. Mambo ya kuambiwa ati wewe ni myang, anza na MCA, anza na MCA. No, we are going for the juiciest part of the meat. Mambo ya wao kukula kuku alafu wanatupatia virenje na kichwa, wanatuambia tuchemushe tukunywe supu. Because that's literally what they are doing to us. They give the young people kuku, lakini kitu wamewapea ni vichwa na virenje zenye washakula hata. Wanasema chemusheni virenje ni miguu. Waluya wanaita hivyo. I'm not a Luya myself, but I know inaitwa virenje. So wanatupea virenje na kichwa anasema chemusheni hapo muone kama kasupu katatoka. We are not going to settle for less. I want to see 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds become CEOs of KCB, Stanbic Bank, Sidian Bank, and all key sectors of the economy. I want to see young people leading geothermal development, climate change. I want to see people in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 20s as cabinet secretaries. I want to see people in their 20s, 40s, 30s as commanders of the military. I want to see someone who is 28 years old and a high school principal. I want young people to understand that they don't have to wait to be old to achieve anything. They can achieve it now. Mimi niko 29 years old and I'm worth over 100 million. Kwani nilizaliwa kwa familia iko na pesa. My father was not rich. My mother was not rich. Mimi I inherited nothing. Hata plot ya 40 by 8 sikupewa. Mimi hata sikuwa ipewa ati 100k enda uanzishe biashara. But I'm worth over 100 million. So if I'm far and beyond over 100 million. So if I'm worth over that at the age of 29 through hard work and without a government position and without theft, why are young people doubting themselves? Mbona mnaambiwa ati wakili fanya hivi, you don't have to start your own law firm right now. Hebu fanyia kazi a few law firms here and there. Ukifika 30, 40 hivi, then you start yours. Why? Toka campus, gain experience, miaka 3, miaka 4, anzisha.
You know, you've reminded me of something. The other day I saw you point out this whole thing of taking young youths to foreign countries for work. Today, the CS has mentioned that they are offering loans of up to 300 million to facilitate the whole thing. I hope you've seen that, yeah?
Oh my, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because CS Alfred Mutua made thousands of young people desperate. Let me add the word desperate. Like they really need a job. Wanataka kutoka block. Wanataka kutoka ghetto. Wanataka kutoka mashinani. Pia wao waweze kujitegemea na kuanzisha familia na kununua property. Na kuinvest. Akawapangisha loan in their thousands. Line in their thousands. Hao watu wakaambiwa, wale walichaguliwa wakaambiwa for drivers, you know, for security guards and what, kwenda kwa Saudi Arabia na Qatar and elsewhere. Akawaambia kila mtu alipe 52k. Everybody paid 52k. He took their passports and promised them that they'll have visas within 14 days.
So the 52k was
si waliambiwa walipe ati ndio ifacilitate sijui medical na processing. I thought medical ya kutravel mostly huwa inafanywa kwa government hospitals. So why didn't the government just waive it? Mbona wasiseme kama umekuwa selected under this program to go work in Saudi Arabia or Qatar, go to Mama Lucy Hospital or to Mbagathi Hospital or to Kenyatta Hospital, get your medicals done for your travel, it's free. The government has waived it. Why were they paying? They paid 52k atini ya medicals, sijui na vitu zingine hapa, visa processing fees. Hiyo 52k hawajaiona. Imagine hauna job, hauna biz, umepata opportunity, wazazi wako wameenda wameuza ng'ombe, ama wameuza shamba, ama wameenda wameslave in somebody's farm, ama wametoa savings zote, ama wametoa fee ya bro wako. Wamemwambia wewe mambo ya kwenda kampo kwanza achana nayo. Wacha huyu aende ngambo, akipata job atakulipia, utaenda kampo next year ama next year part 1. Then this 52k may disappear. These people hawajaipata visas, hawajaienda, wako tu hapa. The same person sasa leo ameappear like somebody who was not there. Like somebody who's just been woken up from a very interesting dream and has decided, wow, I can actually offer loans to these people. Why loans? Why not grants? Over 3 billion shillings is stolen in our government every day. So is it that our government cannot afford to pay for ticket and everything for all those people? It can afford, and it will afford, and it should afford. So hiyo ni mchezo ya town. Anataka kutuingiza kipindi, anataka kutuchezesha senemare, na muonea 24.
Now, talk to the Kenyan youths out there as we wind up. We have a group that is so much afraid because now, these days, getting an ID is being charged. Elections are coming up. Youths are expected to have these IDs to have the voters card. Others are saying this might be a scheme. to limit the number of youths who get their voters cards?
Mi nikuulize hivi. Unajua yes, we are complaining about the cost of IDs. Na mi pia na feel cost of replacement ya ID, thou, cost of a new one 300 wakati unafanya first application, hauna job, hauna hata fare ya kwenda kuapply ya hii kitu. But what I can tell the young people is this. Pia nyinyi ikifikanga kupigania rights zenu, tokea. Msicomplain tu kwa social media. This thing sometimes you have to fight for it. Hakuna mtu atakuletea kwa nyumba. Nobody is going to bring you change to your house where you're sleeping. Change lazima utoke uende uitafute. So what I can tell the young people is, yes, tuna complain kuhusu hiyo cost. Have we tried to put ourselves together? Nikiwaita saita hao tuende tufanye maandamano ya hizo IDs ikwe free the way they used to be. Mtatokea? Hiyo ndo swali. Ama mtaogopa abduction? Ama mtaogopa kupigwa na polisi ama tear gas? Kama mtaogopa, then tukae sisi wote na uoga yetu. Tuone mahali itatufikisha. Wewe uogope, mimi niogope, tulale. But if you are ready to lose your fear, then they are ready to lose their power to oppress us. So lose your fear for them to lose their power to oppress. Yeah, so young people, yes, I do understand the complaint. I feel it. I know it. There's something that can be done about it, but that something that can be done cannot be done without you. So pia nyi mkiitwa tokeanga.
You have to take part.
They have to take a part.
All right, thank you so much, Morara, for your time. That was quite a discussion. Personally, sidhani nimemaliza mambo yote, but anyway, because of time, wacha tumalizie hapo hivyo. Asante sana, you're doing an amazing job. We wish you the very best. And yeah, I know carrying the burden isn't easy. We're praying for you. Sindio?
Thank you. Thank you for praying for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for always having my back. I don't take it for granted. And just to tell the Kenyan people that I'm really grateful for this support that you've given me so far. I don't deserve it. It's not that I work harder than everybody else. You just gave me favor and said, this person shall speak on our behalf. Just to assure you that I'll always remain fearless, that I'll always remain focused, that I'll always defend what is right and what is true, that I'll never be bought. So you can rely on me. You can trust me. You can trust me to always be on your side, and that is what I'll always do. Once in a while, you might be disappointed. When I do one or two things that maybe you don't like, just remember I'm a human. I can make a mistake, but have my back, and I'll always have yours.
I believe you're on social media. You can give them your social media handles, yeah?
Yeah. At Morara Kebaso Senior on X, at Morara Kebaso on Instagram, at Morara Kebaso Senior Council on TikTok, and at Morara Kebaso on Facebook. All my social media handles have a blue check mark. So then they are verified. So then you can know how to differentiate between the fake one and the real one. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Morara Kebaso, Inject Party Leader. Remember to follow him on the social media platforms that he has given you. Remember, mesema, all his social media platforms are verified. So, spatane pale hivyo na a fake one. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Until next time, I've been your host, Shiko Guitar. On all platforms, you can find me at I_am Shiko Guitar.
SPM Buzz.